Dana White's Contender Series 2022 Week 3. Most confident picks as well as the full card prediction. We got Bo Nickal, who you already know is going to be a confident pick, maybe even a super confident pick. We got Jamal Pogues, former UFC or Dana White's Contender Series fighter, taking on Paulo Renato Jr., a good kickboxer. We got Anvar, Boynazarov, a guy that actually beat Giga Chikadze and gave Giga his first ever kickboxing loss, versus Erik Silva, a good grappler. We got Edgar Chairez versus undefeated Clayton Carpenter. Then we got a good women's fight with Karolina Wojcik and Sandra Lavado. Good Dana White's Contender Series card. Put your predictions down below. And let's get into the first one in the strawweight division. Sandra Lavado and Karolina Wojcik, however you say that one, in the strawweight division. Age doesn't really matter. It's pretty similar right there. Height and reach, I don't know. Sandra Lavado literally does not have it even listed on her Tapology, but she's fighting not the best fighters, and she's not able to finish any of these fighters. I mean, Sherlyn Sanchez right here is a 0-2 random Mexican fighter that she was able to go 3 rounds with, was not able to get a finish with. Her last finish was 3 years ago against Lizeth Palacios, who is 0-1. That is it. That is it. She did lose to a good fighter in Carla Elizabeth Sanchez Lozano, who should honestly be on this Contender Series card instead of her. I mean, I'm going to be quite honest with you, but she's fighting Karolina Wojcik, who has definitely fought the better opponents. I mean, I looked at the whole record. I've watched her fights. She's fighting scrubs. Sandra Lavado has never fought a girl anywhere near the level of opponent for Karolina Wojcik, and I've actually predicted fights for Karolina Wojcik in the past when she did fight Alexandra Rolla right there, who is a very tall, very lengthy kickboxer that was able to go out there and use her striking and lose the fight. I mean, I was looking at this fight, I was watching film on Wojcik and Rolla, and I'm like, Wojcik is really good at closing the distance and using her striking on the inside, landing some good kicks, putting on the pressure, and putting on that volume. She's got really, really solid pressure and volume. Her only loss was to Chairez in a fight. The striking was very, very even. And Sandra Lavado, she's got decent grappling, but she's not going to go out there and take down Karolina Wojcik. It's just not going to happen. So I think this fight will stay on the feet. Karolina will be close to finishing because I know Dana wants that finish, and I know Karolina will definitely get the contract if she gets the finish. So she'll be close. I mean, she'll land some big shots on the feet, but overall, she's pretty small. She doesn't have the best power. She's got good pressure, good volume, good boxing, good kicks at range. I mean, she was able to keep it very even with Ewelina Wozniak as well as Chairez. So I think this is going to be a pretty dominant showing here. Only way Sandra Lavado wins is if somehow she gets the fight down and gets a submission. But again, she's been fighting scrubs and she hasn't been able to finish any of them. So Karolina Wojcik with a unanimous decision. Clayton Carpenter and Edgar Chairez in the flyweight division. Clayton 5-0 taking on an 8-3 Edgar Chairez, who has also fought in some guys that are going to be on the Contender Series this year. To one of them, he did get submitted by in round number 5, so you know this man has been in some main events in the past. It was Jesus Santos Aguilar, maybe it's Jesus, I may be saying that incorrectly, but he is fighting in the Contender Series week 5 over here against Edson Ferreira. That should be a very good fight. But now, I mean, that was a guillotine submission loss in round number 5. 19 freaking seconds left, and it was going to be a close decision. He also got our triangle armbarred by Axel Osuna in that fight right there. I'm going to be honest, his grappling isn't the best, but it's not that bad. He also has some good submission offense of his own, but fighting a guy like Clayton Carpenter, I think on the ground, he's no match for Clayton. Clayton can take him down, he can rear naked him, he can knee bar him like he did with Nick Clem, and like we saw in his amateur career, he did very good at getting the fight to the ground, getting that full mount, and just boom, cranking on the arm, getting that armbar submission round 1 or round 2, but we've seen the kickboxing has been very good as well. The boxing has been very good as well. I think he can definitely go out there and strike with Edgar Chairez, and I think it's going to be pretty even, but I do give a slight advantage to Clayton. He does kick a little bit harder, and he throws a little bit more volume than Edgar Chairez, but I think they'll kick for a little bit, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. I don't know how long they're going to kickbox for, but eventually Clayton's going to be like, you know, Dana wants to finish. Let's get this fight to the ground. Let's get the back of Edgar Chairez. Let's ground and pound a little bit. And let's get an arm bar, a rear naked, a guillotine, whatever the case may be. Clayton Carpenter, round 2, submission over Edgar Chairez. Anvar Boynazarov versus Erik Silva in the featherweight division. I'm going to say it right now. Why did the UFC give Anvar Boynazarov a wrestler or a grappler? I don't know why. He's from Tiger Muay Thai, which means he obviously has some good Muay Thai, but it's not just Muay Thai fighters that go over to Tiger Muay Thai. There's some good wrestlers over there, and we obviously know this dude is legit on the feet. 3 first-round knockout wins in a row, 21 seconds, a minute 39, and a minute and 10 seconds. We know he can kickbox for a long period of time. We know he can knock you out easily in round number 1, like he did in 3 straight fights right here. And he also has a win over Giga Chikadze back in 2015. We know he can kickbox. We all know that. I mean, basing off, of course, beating a guy like Giga, for sure, we know he can go out there and win this fight. But how long has he been training to become an MMA fighter? Let's see. His first fight was 2020 against Henry Krapp, who is a 0-3 guy that is a striker. So they literally set him up against a guy that is not a good wrestler or grappler. The second one, a 2-16 guy that looks like he goes walking around at Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then John Pham was a decent step up in competition, but really not that much. A guy that also does not have the best grappling. I mean, I don't see him. The level of fighters that Anvar has been fighting have not been that to Erik Silva. Erik has been fighting nothing but killers his last 3 or 4 fights. Ruben Lozano right there, rear naked, round 1. Erik Radhim right there, rear naked, round 1. Daniel Vega, rear naked, round 1. And then Edgar Garcia Cabello, rear naked, round 1. And these are not scrubs. These are very, very solid opponents over there in Lux Fighting League. And I do think this fight is going to be one of those where we got a kickboxer that beat a guy like Giga Chikadze a very long time ago, making his move over to MMA a little bit too soon, fighting a guy that's just really good at Aljamain Sterling you, getting the body lock, taking it down, getting the single leg, taking it down, getting the back, and submitted you round 1 or round 2. It really just seems like the UFC should have gave Anvar a striker. I'm gonna be honest with you. If they wanted him to get the contract, they would have given him a striker so that he can get a good highlight reel finish to make it very exciting. But I don't think the UFC really wants him. He's 33 and a half years old, kind of aging a little bit now, and doesn't have the best grappling. Erik Silva should be able to go out there, take this fight down, and get that submission. Tapology's all over it. I don't know why the odds are so close. Erik is better on the ground so much more than Anvar Boynazarov, but you never know. Maybe somehow he's been training with Hamza Chimaev in the last few months, or Alexander Volkanovski, and his wrestling is just absolutely amazing. But Erik is he's so good at doing that Aljamain Sterling, getting in your back and submitting you. So Erik Silva, round number 2. Or round number 1, I don't know, whichever one. Rear naked choke submission. Paulo, Renato Jr. and Jamal Pogues in the heavyweight division, 26 and a half and 28 and a half years old. Jamal is going to be taller. He's going to be a little bit less, actually the same amount of experience, okay. But he has fought inside the LFA. He's fought on the Contender Series and lost. And won, but he lost right after that. He did beat Marcos Brigaigo, who was undefeated at the time, but went on to just do absolutely horrible after he lost to Jamal Pogues. But Jamal, you know what he's going to do right here. You know he's going to take you down. He's going to use his thighs, get on top, and ground and pound, and wrestle, and ground and pound, and wrestle, and look to just smother you on top with the wrestling and grappling. Paulo, on the other hand, not looking to do anything on the ground. This dude, first round knockout, second round knockout, second round. I mean, these are retirements. I don't know why, but all of his wins, I think, are knockouts. Let's see, 7 knockout wins, 1 submission win, and then 2 decisions right there. 1 loss to Kyle Robertson. Let's check out what submission. Oh my god. The dude does not have good wrestling. The dude does not have good grappling. He's going to get taken down early on in this fight. And he's going to lose on the ground. He's going to lose on the ground. I can see him catching Jamal Pogues on the feet, maybe knocking him out. It is heavyweight. Paulo is a very good kickboxer. He's got really good head kicks, really good power in his hands. Can totally see that. Or I can see him looking for the finish. And then round 2, round 3, Jamal survives somehow, takes him down, and beats him with the ground and pound. It's going to kind of look like, Greg Hardy, Marcin Tybura, where Greg's going to look good early on, but then he's going to get tired, and then he's going to get taken down by the better wrestler, better grappler, and get TKO. That's what I see happening here. Paulo going to look good around 1, win it, and then tire out a little bit. Jamal, Round 2, TKO. Zachary Borrego and Bo Nickal in the middleweight division. If you don't know who Bo Nickal is, he's a very good wrestler. That's all I'm going to say right there. If you want to know more, look up Bo Nickal Wrestling. You'll see he's a very, very good wrestler in college in the D1 ranks. Good wrestler, but we saw his striking in his last fight. In his debut against John Nolan, 1-2 down the middle, knocked him out very, very easily. Training out of American Top Team, who have very, very much improved his striking since he left wrestling to go into actual wrestling and MMA and things like that over here to actually have some striking and kickboxing and things like that mixed in there. But who's he fighting? Zachary Borrego, 6 foot 2 inches tall, 77-inch reach, good Muay Thai, good kicking game at range. I think he will have a slight kicking advantage over Bo Nickal, but dude, Bo has power. I mean, when you're an athlete like that, like Bo Nickal is, even if you don't have the best technique, which Bo actually does have some pretty decent technique, Bo has some damn power in his hand. I mean, he can easily go out there and just 1-2 knock out Bo Nickal round 1, round 2. I can totally see it happening, and they're going to be, oh my god, contract for Bo Nickal, put him against another debuting guy to just build up the record of Bo Nickal. But, you know, it's a weird fight in the middleweight division. Obviously, UFC really, really wants him to win this fight, of course, because he's a good wrestler. He's an NCAA champion. All the wrestling fans could go over to the UFC to see this Contender Series fight and see him fight in the UFC. But he's fighting Zachary Borrego, who, I mean, not even that long ago, 2021, got submitted by Felipe Rocha, who's not as good of a wrestler as Bo Nickal is. And it was taken down easily, rear naked right there. Knocked out by Gabriel Nixon right there. So whatever he wants in this fight, Bo Nickal can strike him, land a nice right hook on the feet, and knock out Zachary Borrego. But more likely, he's gonna do some good things on the feet, maybe hurt Zachary a little bit, then take the fight down. Ground and pound and submit him in round number 1. Round number 2, I got Bo Nickal by finish in the first or second rounds. Those are the full card predictions. The Bo Nickal, Jamal Pogues, Erik, Silva, Clayton, Carpenter, and Karolina, Wojcik, all gonna be favorites. But if there is an underdog, it's gonna be Paulo, Renato Jr. That one, I don't know why the odds are that crazy, but yeah, if I may give my confident picks, number 1, most confident pick of the card, you know what it's going to be, Bo Nickal as a super confident pick right there. Number 2, confident pick is going to be Karolina Wojcik. I'm going to have her as a confident pick. I'm going to have Clayton Carpenter as another confident pick. Then Erik Silva as a slight lean. And then Jamal Pogues as a slight lean. So number 1, most confident, Bo Nickal. Number 2, Karolina Wojcik. Number 3, Clayton Carpenter. Number 4, Erik Silva. And number 5, Jamal Pogues, in that order. Put your confident picks down below. Put your predictions down below. And that's all we got. Full card prediction for Contender Series Week 3. Yeah, thanks for watching.